Welcome, guys. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah, I can hear
Yes.
you. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Perfect. So, yeah, everyone, welcome to another episode of BNB Builder Talk. And today's episode, we're gonna discuss about AI agents. Basically, the topic is AI agent, the next wave of Web3 apps, where we have speakers from Co-Scorpion, Intelligence Cubed, and Smart Sentinels. So I'm gonna give you guys the stage to go with your introduction for our audience before starting the so you can guys go one by one. So let's start with Clark, then Andre, then Florence.
Hey, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, brilliant. Great to be here. So my name's Clark. I'm one of the co-founders of Coscription. So Coscription is a decentralized AI platform where users can create, customize, and monetize AI models, starting with image generation and expanding into agents and more advanced use cases. We're building the infrastructure for user-owned AI, where models are deployed with built-in monetization through smart contracts.
Awesome. Andre?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Andre and I'm founder of Smart Sentinels. We are building a decentralized network where AI agents perform real-world useful work, starting with automated smart contract auditing and agents in healthcare already. This will allow to mint new tokens and reward the community. And I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. Florence. We can hear you.
Can you hear me clearly?
Now, all good.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, you can hear me now. Okay. Sorry about
Yeah.
that. Technical issues. Okay, so I'm Florence, CTO of Intelligence Cubed. We're building the Modelverse, a decentralized marketplace that turns AI models into programmable on-chain assets with pay-per-use access, royalties, and transparent benchmark. So we're just creating a decentralized model, AI model NASDAQ. Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. Welcome you guys to this session. So yeah, thanks for your introduction. Now we're gonna start the AMA. So basically, this is gonna be have 4 segment where the first segment will be starting with understanding AI agents. So I'm gonna ask you questions one by one. So same question to Clark, then Andre, then Florence. So the first question is, as of now, AI agent still very new for lots of audience. So let's start with the simple questions. Like for beginners, what exactly is an AI agent in Web3? Can you break it down in simply so any layman can understand?
Thanks, Jitendra. Yeah, so the easiest way to think about an AI agent in Web3 is that it's AI that can actually take actions and not just give you answers. So instead of just chatting with a model, an AI agent can do things like interact with smart contracts, move assets, or execute tasks on your behalf. The Web3 part is what gives it that ability to operate because it can plug into wallets, protocols, and on-chain systems. And I think where this gets really interesting is when you can combine that with ownership. So agents aren't just tools, but something you can actually control and monetize, which is a big part of what we're building at Coscription.
Interesting. And Henry, as per you,
Yeah,
how
great question. Great question. So in Web3, an AI agent is more than just a chatbot. It's an autonomous on-chain worker. It can take action, it can send transaction, it can interact with smart contracts, it can execute professional tasks independently, it can own assets, but most importantly, it can verify work. So through our proof of useful work, the agent's output, like a smart contract audit, it's cryptographically proven on the blockchain. At Smart Sentinels, our agents aren't just software, they are decentralized employees, basically, that perform real business values, real business services, like in a medical office, for example. It's an AI with a job and with a wallet, basically, in my opinion.
Yes, new POV. So, Florence.
Yeah, so in my view, an AI agent is best understood not a conversational interface, but as an autonomous or semi-autonomous software entity capable of global directed behavior. It can interpret context, reason over objectives, invoke tools, access external system, and execute actions with a degree of persistence and adaptability. So what makes the Web3 context distinctive is that agents are not merely computational actors. They can also become economic actors. They can control wallets, interact with smart contracts, pay for services, receive revenue, enforce rules, and participate in open coordination system without relying on a centralized intermediary. The reason this category is accelerating now is the convergence of two maturing technology stacks. So on one side, model capabilities have improved substantially, while inference costs have declined and model specialization has become more viable. On the other side, blockchain infrastructure has matured enough to support low-cost programmable coordination with around ownership, settlement, incentives, and access control. So what the market is reacting to is not just AI plus crypto, it is a realization that intelligence and economic agency can now be coupled in a native way. Yeah, that's my answer for the first question.
Yep. And for the next one, I would like to combine two questions because I believe most of the answer you have provided in the first one is completely covering also the second question too. So that's why I would like to only understand how AI agents are differ from smart contracts and from the traditional bots. And according to you guys, what are the recent changes or improvement that AI agents are doing actually viable now in Web3 particularly?
Yeah, great question. So I think the main difference is flexibility and intelligence. Smart contracts are very rigid. They just do what they're programmed to do, nothing more. And traditional bots are also similar and follow fixed rules. So if X happens, then do Y. What makes AI agents different is that they can actually make decisions based on context. They can learn over time and adapt to new situations. So instead of just following instructions, they can figure out what to do and then use things like smart contracts to actually execute it. And I think what's changed recently is probably a combination of a few things coming together at the same time that sort of makes AI agents viable now. First, the big one is that AI models have improved a lot, especially LLMs. So now they can actually reason, handle multi-step tasks, and adapt instead of just giving simple outputs. And secondly, the tooling has matured, so it's much easier to connect AI to workflows, APIs, different systems, which makes building agents way more practical now. And then on the Web3 side, everything is already fully digital and on-chain, so agents can plug directly into that environment and act without needing any human intervention. So I guess it's really that convergence, better AI, better tooling, and the Web3 infrastructure that's turned agents into something you can actually build and use today. And I think that's why we're starting to see real use cases emerge and not just experiments. Yeah.
Interesting. Andre?
Yeah, great question. In my opinion, the difference between a smart contract and an AI agent, the smart contract, it's basically rigid. It's there you have if and then and a logic. And the AI agent, it's proactive and it's adaptive. They have a specific goal. They need to find vulnerabilities in a code. They have a task to do for the medical office or whatever the business can be. They observe data, they plan the steps, and they decide the course of action. It's like having an expert employee with their own office keys. In this case, the office keys would be the crypto wallet. And in terms of improvements, I think having the on-chain identity, the agents now have a verifiable reputation, and you can see the agent's success rate. And before basically copying the agent or deploy this agent, make a copy of this agent for yourself and to trade for you or to do various tasks for you. The on-chain identity is a recent improvement that's on chain.
Okay, awesome. Florence?
Okay, so to me, a smart contract and AI agent are both forms of software automation, but they operate very differently. A smart contract is deterministic. It follows predefined rules written into code and execute exactly as specified once certain conditions are met. It does not interpret context, adapt its behavior, or make judgment calls. If you find that, so the smart contract will do that. Yeah, and an AI agent is different because it is probabilistic and goal oriented. It can interpret inputs, reason over context, choose between actions, use tools, and adapt based on new information. Instead of simply following one fixed path, it can decide on how to achieve an objective. That makes it more flexible, but also less deterministic than a smart contract.
And what, according to you, what are the improvements AI agents are doing right now, and they're actually viable now? Florence?
Oh, sorry.
And one part of that same question is, what are the change recently that made AI agents actually viable now?
You mean what are some like viral AI agent currently?
Yeah,
Okay.
improvement or changes.
Okay, so recently we created on our intelligence cube an auto router AI agent. So we have like more than 500 our intelligence cube models, and if a user's like prompt or like create a task and which the user does not know like which specific model they want to use, so we use this like auto router agent that defines from the our um, our democratic dynamic benchmark based on the proof of intelligence score and other like latency and stuff. It will eventually retrieve the best model that that match with the user's task. And so that's what we're currently building on, and we receive a lot of like on-chain like usage recently that currently a lot of users are actually using our auto router agent, trying out our auto router agent. Yeah.
Interesting. And one more thing, which is also I feel like agents can communicate to each other, but bots can't,
But
which is
what
like
can't bots?
new and bots basically bot cannot interact each other, but AI agents can.
Yeah.
And now let's go to the segment two, where again I'm combining two questions. So, what does a real AI agent stack looks like on BNB chain, and how do you design an agent that can act autonomously but still remain trustless?
Yes, I think in practice it usually looks like a hybrid stack. So the AI layer handles the reasoning, decision making, and understanding of what the user wants. Then you've got the infrastructure layer, which is things like the backend, APIs, wallets, data sources that help the agent actually function smoothly. And then you've got BNB chain which sits on the execution side, where smart contracts handle things like payments, ownership, permissions, and any on-chain actions. So the simple way to think about it is the agent does the thinking off chain, and then BNB chain handles the trust and execution on chain. That's probably well, it's really the model that makes the most sense today because it keeps things scalable while still using blockchain where it adds the most value.
Got it. Got it. Yep. Andre?
This is also a great question. On BNB chain nowadays, an AI agent task is not just a script. It's like a verifiable life cycle. It begins with the identity and the trigger. It follows with the execution. It goes further with the on-chain settlement, and in the final result, it would be reputation update. In short, a task on BNB chain, it's a transparent loop of identity, it's an off-chain work, it's an on-chain proof, and it's an automatic reward, for example. It's efficient, it is scalable, it is completely trustless.
Okay. Florence?
Sorry, can you like repeat the question again? I didn't quite catch it. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let me repeat the question. The question is, what does a real AI agent stack looks like on BNB chain, and how do you design agents that can act autonomously but still remain trustless?
So you mean like what stack that we prefer what users use to build an agent?
Yep. Yep. It can be AI infra smart contracts that requires will on BNB chain. And how do you design an agent that can act autonomously but still remain trustless on BNB chain?
So I think it'll eventually like so it'll eventually just fall back to reliability, observability, fallback behavior, latency, discipline, and a clear scope matter more than maximum autonomy in the early stage. So a constrained agent that executes more workflow exceptionally well is usually more viable than a high ambitious but unstable system.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I think Florence complete with her questions answer, right? I think we can move to the next question because as of now, you guys know this is a session for builders who are building on BNB chain, and we are educating them and motivating them to build more AI agents on BNB chain. So just to help them, the question is, what tools, SDKs, or infra on BNB chain should developers explore first when they are planning to build a agent on BNB chain? And what are the biggest mistake a builder make when trying to build AI agents?
Yeah, great question. So I'd say for the first question, I'd say start with the basics first and keep the stack very practical. On the BNB side, the main things are solidity for contracts, a good RPC connection, and the official BNB chain docs for BSC or OPBNB, depending on where you want to build. BNB chain also has a really good developer tooling hub, so that's a good place to get oriented quickly. And then for the agent side, use whatever LLM framework or backend stack you're already comfortable with. I think the real value is in the workflow, not forcing a specific AI framework. And if you want even lower cost, high frequency execution, OPBNB is especially worth exploring. And so honestly, I'd start with one simple loop, agent logic off chain, smart contract on BNB chain, wallet and RPC connected, and then build from there. Yeah, that's kind of the way we think about it. And then your second question, what are the biggest mistakes builders make? Was that the question?
Yep.
So I see a few common mistakes coming up a lot. The first one is probably overcomplicating things too early, trying to build full multi-agent systems before you've got one useful workflow working. The second is focusing too much on the AI itself and not enough on the actual use case. The agent needs to be solving an actual problem day to day. And the third is trying to put too much on chain. In reality, most of the intelligence should probably stay off chain and only the important parts go on chain. So I think the best approach is start simple, build something that actually does one thing well, and then expand from there. So yeah, that's probably the main idea.
Genuine. It sounds genuine. So yeah, Andre.
Yeah, so BNB chain ecosystem has released like specialized infrastructures to handle the needs of the developers. You do have the BNB agent SDK. It's an essential tool to build AI agents on the BNB chain network. You can use also the ERC 8004 protocol for this. You can use the Binance AI agent skills. You can also use BNB Greenfield for this, and also ELIZA framework you can use to build agents on Binance blockchain. There are lots of tools that BNB chain has provided for the developers to effectively build. And for the second question, in terms of the mistakes, I think, in my personal opinion, I think the developers need to focus on one agent that performs one task, and this agent is not trying to do basically everything. They can use a multi-agent structure, not train one model or one agent to do various tasks, because that will fail.
You mean basically start with something simple, then once it start working, then maybe you can add more things or maybe create more agents, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you are going to deploy an agent, for our example, we do have an agent that audits smart contracts. This is what he does. He doesn't go in the healthcare, the same agent, so it doesn't mix the tasks that he has, so the memory, the context, and so on. So basically, if you are trying to build something, stick with it, and if you do want to expand the services on the project or on the website or so on, start building a new agent that is specifically meant to do that task.
Yeah, got it. It's like making experts. Yep. So
Yeah.
Florence.
Yeah, so for the second question, my advice would be to begin with a well-bounded problem definition and a modular architecture. So first, not start with an abstraction where like I want to build an agent. Start with a concrete operational question like what decision or workflow or user task do you want to improve? The strongest product usually emerge from a narrowly scoped but highly valued use case. And use a composable stack. So in most cases, that means strong reasoning models, retrieval where external context matters, tool invocation and controlled execution layer, and memory only where persistence is generally useful. Yeah, so I think that's my advice for question number 2. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. So now let's go to segment 3. We'll learn real use cases and opportunities for AI agents. So the first question is, what are the most exciting AI agent use case you are seeing right now as a founders or key people in projects building AI?
So there's a lot happening right now, but a few stand out. I think DeFi is a big one, especially trading and automation, where agents can execute strategies continuously. Then you've got assistants that help users navigate Web3, which I think is really important for onboarding. And something we're really interested in is agents tied to user-owned models, where they can provide services and even monetize. So it's not just about automation, it's about turning AI into something can actually generate value for users, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. It makes sense, 100%. Andy?
Well, moving beyond the digital world, the AI agents are now performing real world businesses services. And for example, in our case at Smart Sentinels, we are using the proof of useful work, where we basically bridge Web2 businesses also, like medical offices from Romania, and we are bridging a Web2 business with Web3 with the protocol of the proof of useful work, where these agents are working off chain and they settle these rewards towards our user on chain. And we can scale the project. Basically, everyone that's got an AI agent doing whatever the use case, it can be added to the network. So in my opinion, having AI agents on chain, it's an infinite possibilities that you can build and do with them.
Right. Florence?
So I'm looking through some security operation agents. Security is particularly strong fit because workflow is already too tool heavy, data rich, and time sensitive. Data agents can triage alerts, investigates anomalies, correlate signals, draft response actions, and help analysts move faster. So yeah, I'm kind of like into like security agents that's like heavily on observation, governance, and least privilege controls for agent operating at enterprise scales. Um,
Interesting info, guys. Interesting. Actually, right now, after listening your answers, now I'm gonna skip the next questions because I think you guys already answered this one. So instead, now let's go to the next question, which is basically you're gonna give a alpha drop, basically to ideas or maybe suggestion to the audience or developers listening to this session. So what's an idea that no one is building according to you, and the people who are listening to this AMA, this would build this.
So yeah, I think one idea I don't think is fully explored yet is agents that actually manage their own revenue streams. So not just doing tasks, but operating more like a digital business. For example, an agent tied to a specific AI model that can create content, distribute it, and monetize automatically. So instead of constantly interacting with tools, you're owning something that's generating value in the background. That's very aligned with what we're building here at Coscription, turning AI models into assets that can actually earn.
Yep, Henry.
Well, I think what the new developers or developers can build further to enhance AI agents on blockchain on BNB chain, I would say investigation agents. Perhaps if some hack occurs or somebody was involved in a scam or stuff like that, having chainalysis or stuff like that require manual entry takes like a lot of time. And I think an AI agent that can investigate the source of the hack, the wallets that were involved in this hack, perhaps you could get to results faster. So yeah, this would be like an idea for the
Yeah, this is
developers
very
to try and build.
yeah, this is very
I'll just start. Sorry, it's a little bit laggy over there. So I think agent reputation and liability layer is very important because right now everyone is building agents that can do more, but very few are building infrastructures um, that answers like should this agent be trusted, will like hack my data like information, and what is it allowed to do, or who is accountable when it fails. How do I compare one agent to another in production, not just in a demo? So I think like agent security, reputation, and liability layer is very important. Yeah, I think in the future, hopefully, more agent will focus on like security and liability side. Yeah.
Yeah, true. Makes sense. So now our last segment, we're gonna discuss future builder advice. You guys gonna give some builder advice. So my first question is, what will AI agents on BNB chain like will gonna look like in next 12 to 18 months, according to you?
So I think we're going to see AI agents move from experiments to something much more integrated into everyday Web3 usage. Right now, there's a lot of agents. It's sort of still very early, but the growth is already crazy. We've seen a huge spike in on-chain agents just this year, especially on BNB chain. So the next step is agents becoming the interface layer. So instead of users clicking through dApps, they'll just tell an agent what they want, and it handles everything in the background. We'll also start seeing more multi-agent systems where different agents coordinate together to handle more complex workflows. And then probably the biggest shift is agents becoming actual on-chain assets where they can hold funds, execute strategies, and even generate revenue over time. So overall, it moves from tools you use occasionally to systems that are constantly running and acting in your behalf. At least that's my opinion anyway.
In my opinion,
Right.
these agents in the following period of time will start to look more and more like employees to do useful work for a business, and you can monetize this business. I think we should focus into going towards having utility rather than having a task that can be copied, like a trader agent that lots of people can copy these agents and they can do the same trade. But I think we need to focus to give these agents, these AI agents, and the power that this AI agent have to give them more utility and to try and combine real world businesses. So Web2 to bridge Web2 with Web3. In my opinion, we should focus on this, and hopefully the next period of time we will go towards this.
Hmm. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Florence.
So I think AI agent on BNB chain will probably look less like standalone chatbots and more like production grade economic actors. The direction BNB chain itself is signaling is very clear that standardized agent payment, agent identifier, reputation, verifiable capabilities, and hybrid off-chain, on-chain execution are becoming core infrastructure rather than experimental features. And I think it'll I think we will see a shift from personality-led agent to utility-led agents in the future. And like, so early Web3 agent got attention through memes, social presence, and speculation. I think the next wave on BNB chain is more likely to be like task-oriented, trading co-pilots, research agents, customer-facing service agent, and on-chain execution agent, and etc. So I think, yeah, so it's like an evolution moving from personality to utility.
Okay, okay. So now my last question is, let's for example, I'm a developer watching this session. what's and also I am so like motivated developer who really want to build something, but I have no idea what to start with. So if I'm a developer watching this, what should I build in the next 30 days? And one piece of advice that you guys want to give to all the builders watching us entering into AI and Web3 right now.
Um, yes, I'd say don't overthink it and just build something simple but useful. Pick one clear use case, maybe a trading assistant, content generator, or automate something, something you're interested in. Build the loop where the agent can take an input, make a decision, and actually execute something. So yeah, even something basic connected to BNB chain for payments or access control is enough to start. If you're exploring ideas around user-owned models or monetization, that's the sort of direction we're pushing at Coscription as well. But I think in 30 days, that the goal would be, really just proving something works, and then iterating from there. The most important thing I think is just to give it a try and start small. In terms of advice for builders entering AI right now and Web3, I'd say just focus on real utility over hype. It's so easy to get caught up in trends, but what actually matters is building something people will actually use. Start simple, solve a clear problem, and just make sure your agent actually delivers value day to day. And don't try too hard to decentralize everything from day one. Use Web3 where it makes sense, for ownership, monetization. That's something we're really focused on at Coscription as well, making it easy to go from using AI to actually owning and earning from it. So yeah, I think if you get usefulness right, everything else should follow.
Well, Clark said
Interesting.
this very well. So Clark had a point here. Utility. This is it. If it has utility, people will use it. If people will use it, you can basically monetize it into a project. So this is the best answer that I can also give. Utility, and as a advice would be never to give up. Keep trying, keep trying, keep trying until you find the right market share, you find the right people, you find the right partnerships to get you to a successful launch. Never give back, and don't give back. Don't give up. Don't give up.
Yeah, completely agree with
Well
that,
said.
Andre.
Well, thanks. Yeah, well said.
Yeah,
And thanks for motivating developers, Florence.
yeah, I agree with both founders' recommendation. So yeah, for me, I think also to start small first and like to not start with a really broad idea, and then I think it's just like keep on trying, and then eventually you'll find the best like on the path or like a specific path that you want to achieve. Um, so yeah, and I think please like also while you're like being really creative, creating an agent, please make sure it transacts safely, and there's like and it's like I think right now it has to be like transact safely and it be trusted inside real applications. And yeah, I think just have fun and yeah.
Yeah, so the summary I can make the main things would be the utility. Utility is the king. If you don't have utility, it's not gonna take you anywhere. So yeah, thanks for the advice and for the idea, and as well as I can say the key things you mentioned about the utility. So now the segment 4 is completed. We are about to end our session, but before that, let's give few seconds to our audience. If they have any questions, they can ask us on comment. But for now, I can see we have already covered lots of important questions, and you guys have already answered very well to all of my questions. So, but let's give few seconds if they have any questions. Then after that, we can conclude. I think nobody have any questions. But still, guys, if you are interested to ask any questions, you can reach out directly. Okay, I got a question. So, what kind of data do you store on SC for AI agents? I think it's for Andrew.
Can you repeat the question, please? What kind of data?
What kind of data do you store in SC for AI agent?
In smart contract.
Okay, it's smart contract. Okay. Yeah.
So in SC, do you mean SC as in short for smart contract? The data.
Yes, it's for smart contract. Yeah.
Well, at Smart Sentinels, we also work with intelligent NFTs, where basically the metadata of this NFT, it's basically on chain. So basically everything, the device, the AI agent it is running on, the model, the settings of the AI agent, basically everything is on chain, is verifiable, and this is also something that we can use in the smart contract. And we are also using gateways. Each agent has its own smart contract that's basically a gateway towards the task that he is performing. So the agent is performing a task. We have a smart contract that acts as a gateway that outputs the interaction of this agent on chain. I hope that this answers the
Clark?
question.
Yep. Clark, do you want to add something?
No, I think he summed it up perfectly.
Florence?
Yeah, I think Andrew did a really good job answering the question.
Okay. So I think no more questions. We can conclude the session now. And before that, I would like to thank you again for joining this session to make it more successful. And all audience, if you still have any questions, please directly reach out all of our guests and speakers via their social media or using their community Telegram group. And you can have your questions to them directly. And thanks for everyone participating in the AMA and making it successful. See you soon. Have a great day, great evening, and great night.
Thank
Bye.
you for having us. Thank you. Bye.
Yep.
Thanks for everyone. Thanks for having us. Great to chat.
Welcome you all.